Nocode HQ, and today we'll be building a simple product hunt mobile app using Glide and a Google Sheet as our database, and it's quite easy to do. Requires no coding at all, and you can create a Glide account as well as a Google account for free. So what you want to do is you want to create a new sheet. I did that already. I call it product hunt. And we want to define basically our different sheets which represent our data type. So we want to have one sheet which is going to be post, so basically each product within product hunt, or let's actually call that product. I think that's easier. We also want to have a user, of course. Okay, and let's go back to and let's actually also add categories. So let's add categories. So a category, and let's start adding the fields as columns. So each product should have a name. It should have a description, it should have an image, obviously. It should have a link, a Twitter and Instagram, which is optional. And yeah, that's it. And a user, of course. It has to be uploaded by a user. A user could have a name, an email, and also an image as well. And maybe a bio text. And a category should just have category name, an image as well, and yeah, we just have to go back to product, and the product also has to have a category. And you're going to see why I put the relations in here, because we're going to connect them in Glide. So that's basically it. Let's also add our first product and user and category, just so we have some data populated. So I'm going to add Nocode HQ. Okay, image, we're going to add that via Glide, so we don't need that right now. Okay, and the user is going to be Noel, which is me, and let's say the category is Nocode. Okay, so we're going to add our user Noel, which I just referenced, and add an email. I'm going to leave the image blank again. Okay, and let's go to category. Let's add a few categories. So let's add Nocode, the one we had already. Let's add APIs. Maybe we have AI. Games, and so on and so forth. Okay, so that's it regarding our data structure. So what you want to do now is you want to go to Glide, and you want to create a new app using this sheet, the product hunt sheet, or whatever you call your sheet, as the sheet that is connected. So I did that already, and you'll be brought into the Glide app editor. So I'm going to just reload the sheet. Let's click yes. And as you can see, Glide already recognizes some information. So it recognizes our different sheets we have, sheet 1, user, and category. So if you go back, we have product, user, and category. It should be called product. I don't know why it's called sheet 1. And some information are already displayed here, however, that doesn't really make sense. So let's start modifying our app. However, the first thing I want to do, I want to create a relation between a product, a user, and a category. So I'm going to do that by going to data. Okay. And I'm going to go to user. And I'm going to add a column within user. Well, let's reload that again. Yeah, okay. I'm going to add a column. And it's going to be called made product. Okay. And this is going to be a relation. And it's going to be where the name of the user matches the product user name. And it can match multiple, because one user can make multiple products. So let's click done. Okay. Let's add the match here. So under category, let's call it has products. Or contains products, maybe. Okay, again, a relation where the name of the category matches the name of the category's name in the product sheet, and again, can match multiple. And we also want to have a relation here, because this relation is just basically static, but we also want to add a dynamic relation. So let's add another column. Let's call it by user. Okay, again, a relation is where this user's name that we statically inputted should match the user name, and it should only match one, because only one user can make one product. And let's add another column, and in category, again, same thing, is where the category matches the category's name and only one again, so not multiple. Okay, so we have our relation set here. That works perfectly fine. So let's go back to layout. Let's start modifying our app. The first thing I want to do, I want to go to settings and I want to change the color. So that already looks a bit like product hunt, maybe a bit more like this. Okay, and a bit darker, I think, like this. Let's change the icon. So is there something for product? A cat, I think there's a cat. Like this, okay. That looks nice. And let's also already add a privacy rule. And we want users to only be able to use this app when they sign in with their email. So it's a public app, but with email. Okay, so that's going to be important. Let's go back to layout now. And let's start modifying our application. So first of all, I want to go to tab section. I want to call the first tab products. Okay, maybe this can be a list. Okay, and if you go back to layout, you can define the structure. So I'm maybe going to choose a list like this, and the title is going to be the name. Okay, the details, description below that. Actually, we don't need it, I think. Maybe the link. Let's add the link below, and the caption could be the username. Okay, and the image, of course, the image, which is currently blank. Yeah, and we can just add an image by drag and drop onto this field now. So I'm just going to choose an image. Okay, so I just dragged the product image on top of here. It doesn't make sense. It's just a placeholder image, but you should get the gist of it. So we have our overview of products here. So let's click on an individual product, and we will be brought to the detailed view of this product. So let's first of all modify that again. Let's click on the title element. Let's say the title should be the name. The details should maybe be, let's add the description somewhere else. Let's say it's the category, okay? And the image, of course, the image, like this. So we have a nice overview. We can remove the category here, and we can add all other fields. So let's add the basic text, which is a description, okay? Beneath that, let's add, and that should not open as a link, that's none. Beneath that, let's add a separator first of all, just for nice design. Then let's add the Twitter, if there is a Twitter, basic text. Twitter, if there is Twitter, like this. Let's add the Instagram, if there is Instagram. Okay. Okay, and let's also add the user. So the user should be a relation. So we're just going to search for a relation, and should be here the by user relation, and just the title is the name of the user. Details is the let's remove the details, and we also don't need an image. I think that's good as it is. So that's the maker. Okay, you can click on that, and it's the relation. And let's of course also add a button maybe, and in product hunt, I think it says get it. So that's the button, and it should open as a link, and it should open the link of the link field. Okay, great. So we have that. We have our Twitter, our Instagram, which are links and work quite fine. We have our user, which is here, a relation to the user. We have our link, of course, and we can also add the same relation to a category. So we can just say in category, title is the category name, details, let's remove that, image can be the image of the category. So let's maybe put that over the button like this. Okay, so we can see now, okay, our product is Nocode HQ, that's the image, that's the category, the description, the links, the user that made it, and the category which it is in. So actually let's put the category below the link. I think that's better. And the by user, let's actually add the image of the user if we have one. I think that's a better idea. Okay, so that's it regarding our product structure. Okay, and let's also have a category structure. I'm going to go back to tabs. Okay, and I'm going to say, okay, well, let's see what's in user. We don't need the user tab, so let's just remove that. Okay, under hidden tabs, and categories tab is nice. Let's call it categories, and let's say this is you can choose the icon you want. I don't know, let's choose a grid maybe like this, categories. And let's say the categories has a structure of tiles, where the title is the name, okay, details is, we don't need details, and the image is of course the image, and you can do the same thing as before, just drag in any images you have. Again, my images don't make sense right now, I'm gonna modify them afterwards, but just for as an example. So we have our different categories here, okay? And if a user clicks on a category, he should be shown all the products within this category. So we're just going to add, let's add again the structure here. So the image is the image, okay, like this. And we're also going to add a separator beneath that. And then we're going to add an inline list. So let's search for inline list. And it already recognizes products, contains products. So let's say products. And it should be a list. And the structure looks nice. So we have all products in this category. So if we go, we have no products for APIs. But we have a first product for Nocode category, and if we click on the product, we're on the product page of the structure. And we have relations basically between all pages. So if you're on a product page, again, you can go back to the category page, and so on and so forth. So that's quite nice and works fine. So what you could also do, instead of having the tabs down here, you could have them in a menu. So if we just drag that here, we could drag all of them in the menu, which is also good idea. Or we need one main tab, I believe. We can also add another tab. Let's call it profile. And let's use a profile for that user like this, okay? And that's going to be the user, okay? And for the, let's drag that profile here. And we have a menu here now, as you can see. So we have our products here and a menu now, yeah, with profile, categories, and share app, okay? But of course, you could also have it as just normal as tabs down here. We can, you can choose however you like to do that. So I'm just going to choose the tabs view like this. Okay. So let's go to profile. And let's say under profile, we want the first thing we want to do first should be a detailed view of the current user. However, we have to add a filtering option. That's quite important. So let's go to feature, and we want to filter the rows by signed in user. Okay. And the email we want to filter from is the email field in our user sheet, and it should match whatever the email of the currently logged in user is. And you can just do the preview in the editor. So if I'm going to remove this, let's see. I can just let me just use a different email. I'm going to just have enter. It should be empty here now because we don't have a user with this email right now. If we go back, I already added a user with this email, and so only the user which is logged in with this email is allowed to see his own information basically. So that's that. So let's go back to layout. We have our view here. Let's maybe say the title image is the image like this. If we have an image, we have an email, the bio, and the made products. That's great. So an inline list we can call my products. Okay, and we have the name again. Let's say that we have the category. That's the same structure as before. So if we go back under user, we have a name, email, image, and bio, okay? And we want to be able to modify all of these things. So let's add the edit, and let's say allow users to edit. So if we click on that, users can now click here and edit their own profile. So edit their name, their email, their image, and their bio, of course. And the image should, of course, not be an image field, but rather it should be an image picker. So let's search for an image picker like this. Okay, let's click done. Let's actually change the bio. Founder of Nocode HQ. I love Nocode like this. Okay, let's click done. As you can see, our bio has changed. So under products now, if we go, for example, on this product Nocode HQ, we can see, okay, the maker is Noel. Let's actually modify that a bit because I want the user's image to be seen. Oh, we don't have an image, that's the issue. Okay, so if we click on the user now, we're brought to his user page. And again, we can modify the user page. So that's different now. That's the user page as seen from someone else. And this is just our profile page. So we have to make the same changes here. We don't want details. We want the image, the bio. We don't want the email to be publicly seen, okay? And we want, of course, the list of products. So an inline list, made products, and again the products he made. So it works quite nice. Users can browse through all different products, look at categories, see what was built in each category, visit the product, of course, see the user who made it, some information, the products he made, go to his profile page, and so on and so forth. So that works quite nicely. And of course, we also want to add something else. We want to add the ability to add new products. So we're going to go back to products, and we're going to go to add, and we're going to allow users to add items. Okay. And if we click on add now, there's no fields here, but let's add a few items. So first of all, we want to give the product name, so a text entry, which is going to be a product name, okay, and should be matched to the name of the product, okay. Then we want to have product description, so let's call that product description. It should be matched to description, that's correct. Let's have the product link, which is a text entry as well. Product link, like this, and we're going to match it to the link. Let's have the image picker, which is the image of the product, okay, should be matched to the image. Let's add the Instagram text entry, let's add the Instagram link, okay, which should be matched to the Instagram. We want the Twitter link, okay, like this. And the last thing that's missing is the category, and that shouldn't be a text entry, that should be a drop down, so a choice basically. So let's choose a choice, and the choice we want to have is between a category. We want to take the options from the category sheet, and the option column should just be name, and it's also required. So what does that mean now? If a user clicks here, he can choose between the name field within our category sheet, so all the categories will be displayed here, and he can choose a category. Okay, so one small issue that I just discovered is if we map the user name, it's quite hard because a user has to input their own name. We want to actually use the email as a mapping. So if we go back here now, under product, I actually want to use the user email. I think that's going to be easier. Let's just change that, okay, to user email. Okay, and that can stay the same. So what does that mean? Let's just reload the sheet. We have to change our relation. Okay, so let's click yes. Let's go back to data. And we have a user email, so let's add a new column. Let's call it again by user. It's again a relation, and it's where the user email matches the user's email. And so why did I do that change? Because we have access to the current user's email in Glide without the user inputting it. So that's the best way to basically keep track of which user currently is creating something. Okay, so yeah, we also need again the column here. So let's add a new column. Made products, okay, again relation where the email of the user matches the product's user email, and it can match multiple, okay, or actually you can just match one. Okay, that should work now fine. Let's just reload the sheet, and it shouldn't, nothing should have changed. We have a list here, and everything should be the same. So we have our user is here. The user email, we don't want to have that. We want to have the relation again. So that was removed. Let's add the relation again. By user, the details is the image. Let's remove that. Image is the image like this. And we want to have that above the category, above the link, I mean. And that should work fine now. So we can modify that again here. And we want to add the inline list again. So that was removed again, which is the, let's go to user column. The made products should be there. Oh, actually we have to delete that. I made a mistake. Should be a list of products again. So let's say made products. Should actually match multiple. So let's say again the email should match the product user email, and it can match multiple. Let's click done. We go back now to layout. Now it should work. Okay, it's the made products list, and we have the same structure as before. So please excuse my mistake, but everything should work out now fine. Our categories work, our products show the user, and the links and so on. Our profile is here. We can edit our profile, and that looks quite good. So let's go back where we were. So we can add a new product, and we have our category, Twitter link, Instagram link. And what we can use now, which is much easier, we can map the current user's email address to the user email address. So without the user inputting anything, we automatically know which user creates which product. So that's a much easier way of keeping track of users. We can add some more features now. So for example, let's also add a favorite option. So let's just add the favorite item, and users can now favorite this item. So maybe let's put that under the description like this. And if the user says this product is something I like a lot, they can favorite it. and it will be shown here now under favorites. Obviously we just have one product here, but users can like look through products, so unfavorite that, and we have no favorites right now. So yeah, that's basically it. That's our simple product hunt clone done. With a list of products that were submitted, ability to submit new products, categories, and profile, and so on. We can now share our app. Let's open it in the browser, and we can see it working. However, as you might see, we need to log in with our email address, otherwise we won't be allowed to access this app. So yeah, that's basically it, and I hope you learned something in this tutorial, and I want to see you guys for the next tutorial with Nocode HQ. Bye.